Welcome back to the Wildest build kind of series this has turned into that I've done. We've done a set of amazing Mizuno irons. We've done some really cool Cleveland wedges. And we're back to doing a set of irons again. This week we are building a crazy set of Bettinardi CB24 rainbow PVD irons. These things are amazing. I can't believe these heads. Down here in the shop, they look, and on camera, they don't do it justice, even come close. The cool rainbow PVD that's in the cavity, but then you get the hints of the rainbow colors across the face and across these irons. These are great looking irons in just chrome when they first came out, but these here in the rainbow PVD are just absolutely crazy. So these things are going to be amazing to build up. I'm super excited to build this set. This is 4-through pitching wedge. We're going to build up a set of these, and these are really soft. Beyond being great looking, there's really good forged irons. So soft feel, really good looks, but these things head-wise are just off the charts. Bettinardi was kind enough to send me these irons, so this is going to be an amazing part of the build. They also, to go with it, sent me a really cool set of Bettinardi cord grips. These are basically lambkin cross-line 360s in cord, bunch of different colors, orange, black, blue, green. So we're going to have these to go on. We've got some BB&F ferrules, bunch of different ones here, bunch of different colors. Went and kind of did one of their kind of random bags and just did the random choice. So we're going to put these on, kind of match up the colors a little bit with the grips. And then for shafts, we are, of course, going to go with a set of KBS rainbow PVD. These are C-Taper Light stiffs, so C-Taper Light 110s with the cool rainbow PVD finish. I know this is a similar set of, same set of irons, shafts we did with the wedges, but I think these are going to look absolutely spectacular with these rainbow PVD heads. So let's go ahead and build this set up. I am super stoked to build it and then take it outside in the sun and get some pictures of it, because this is going to be probably one of the wildest sets of irons you guys have ever seen. So let's get building. All right, so the first thing I like to do is take my shaft that I'm using. I kind of mark them all with a nice little like 4 or whatever the iron is. I know it's on the label, but sometimes it's harder to see. I like to mark it on the shaft. Then we're going to take up the head that we're going to use, take off the little rubber cap, and slide it in there. So that way we are going to mark off how much tip prep we need on each iron. So that way we also kind of have an idea of the depth of how far that shaft goes in, and we'll knock this out on all the different heads. So pop off the little caps, mark this up, and boom, with a Sharpie. That way we'll know exactly how much tip prep we've got on every single shaft there. And that way we can make sure that we're not over prepping them or under prepping them, so that way we get a good bond with epoxy and head and shaft. So we'll go mark up the rest of these, and man, this PVD on both these things is just insane. So cool. All right, so now we're going to prep the tip here. We're just going to sand off the PVD finish. Just get it down to the bare metal. That way we have a good bonding surface between this and the club head. So let's fire up. I'm using a belt sander. You can use regular sandpaper as well. Not a big deal. You can do either one. But just a light sand, just get the color off, and we'll be good to go. Looking good. All right, so now what I like to do is measure these up, see what our playing length is on here, and get these going. So 4 iron here is going to be 38.5 inches long. So we set it on the old ruler here and mark it off at 38.5. And then go through the set and mark off all the other ones. I'm going in 1/2 inch increments, so this will be 5 iron here, be 38. And I just kind of like to get on here and get these all measured out and cut them, because that's the way I like to build them up due to swing weight and all that. I like to get these things going and have the right length and everything set to go as I set these. So 37.5 for the old 6 iron, and we'll mark off the rest of this set. All right, so now we're going to trim these bad boys up. We've got them marked each shaft at what length we want them at. We're going to trim them off with our cutoff wheel and get them to playing length, what length, so that we can swing weight them and make sure to see if we need any tip weights, anything like that. So I'll try to edit this, so apologize to any headphone wearers. I'll try to edit it to make sure that the sound isn't too bad. Sand. Now go to the next one. All right, so we're going to put on these things on the old swing weight scale. This one here designed, put your grip on there so you can actually get the grip. And we'll start with a 4 iron. I like to play my stuff around D2, which is pretty much what I have this set at. And let's see where we're at. See if we need any tip weights or anything like that to get these the swing rate right. And wow, 4 iron is D2 on the nose. Wow, okay, D2 for the 4 iron. Let's go ahead and check the 5. But let's get these all put together. That's wow, right on the nose, D2. That's pretty good. This one here, maybe just a hair lighter. So we'll need like a 2-gram tip weight, if that. It's like D1.5. So these are specking out really, really close. But let's finish out the set and get them all spec'd out. All right, so went through swing weight, everything, and we're good. We've got nothing there that they're all D2, pitching wedge D3, because I am playing the pitching wedge about a 1/4 inch long. So we're going to mix up some epoxy to get this bad boy, these bad boys done. When you do epoxy, you want to, depending on what your epoxy is, what you're using, you kind of want to make sure, like this is this Brampton, you want to make sure it is 50-50 in terms of how much you're using. Now, some people will weigh it out to get it exactly right. Other people will, you know, just kind of eyeball it, like myself. I've been doing this a long time, so we'll eyeball it up. I'm going to use a little bit of shafting beads on this one. They're pretty tight, but we'll put a little bit in there just to make sure we're completely, a little more than I wanted, but we'll make sure that we're completely good there. Get out of some of those beads. Mix this up really well. I like to fold it over into itself a few times to ensure that we got enough epoxy there to coat the inside of the hosel as well as the shaft. And you don't, this isn't a competition of how much epoxy you can put into a shaft and head. You just want enough to kind of coat the inside and outside. So we're going to grab our pitching wedge shaft, kind of labeled it right there. And on here, I like to do first is put the ferrule on. These are some BB&F ferrules. They make some just amazing stuff. I like to put a little bit of epoxy inside here to help hold it in place after it's dry. Now, if with these, I found that 355s are super tight with BB&F ferrules. So I actually like to ream them out to 370 using a reamer bit or a drill bit. and get them the full 370. They go on a little easier, but some people I've heard heating them up and other things. So take your amount of epoxy. Let's put it inside the head here. Make sure to kind of coat the inside of the hosel as well as you can. And once that's coated, I like to take a little bit and put it on the tip of the shaft as well. This way I know everything is coated and we're not going to have any weak spots. And again, you're not trying to load this thing up with epoxy. And when I go in, I like to spin it to ensure everything is coated there as you put the shaft in. Then give it a little tap to make sure it's seated. And then you just wipe the epoxy off. So grab a little paper towel, wipe the excess off there, and number one is done and ready to set over and dry. All right, so glue is dry. So let's go ahead and get these gripped up so that way we can then add some shaft labels and call it a day. So we got grips here. Again, you want to put this in your rubber shaft clamp, get those grooves vertical like a perfect 90 degrees, and then put your grip on here, figure out how far you want to go, and then throw some tape on. I'm just going to do one roll of one strip of double-sided. It's pretty much all I do on most of my grips. Cut off with a little excess here. Peel off the other side. Stretch it around. Try to make it somewhat smooth if you can. One little wrinkle in there, but make that a little smooth. Then take your grip. And these don't really have, these are 360s, so they don't really have, put a little solvent in there. Give it a swoosh. Pour her on. And then toss her on. All right, take your towel, wipe a little excess off. Make sure the grip there looks a little straight. And should be good. All right, one down. Set 6 more to go. All right, let's put on these shaft labels. Like last time, I kind of like doing one up, one down here. So I kind of measured, I put a little dot on here, kind of 3 inches below the grip. And I'm just going to have the center of it touch that dot. And then kind of run this thing down the shaft. Try to make it where I'm not getting too many bubbles or anything out of it. The hardest thing is making sure this is aligned where it is not going to be seen on either side. So I love these. These are pretty cool. These kind of tie-dye shaft labels on here. KBS did a really cool job with these. KBS label. And then got the old Club Junkie label. So we got to put this on too. That way we got both. I'm going to try to put it right in the middle. Bam. KBS, Club Junkie, Bettinardi. Did some pretty cool stuff here. All right, there you have it. That is the wildest build of Bettinardi CB24 irons you have probably ever seen. Rainbow PVD iron heads from Bettinardi, the CB24s. These things are forged. They're really fantastic. BB&F ferrules, KBS C-taper light shafts in PVD rainbow, and some wild Lambkin 360 cord grips with the Bettinardi logo. These things are just flat out awesome. I think they came out spectacular. They're really cool. And honestly, I know a lot of people say, these things are too wild to ever play. They're actually not that distracting to me. I think they look really good, and they're a pretty cool setup. So thanks for following along. Appreciate you following this another wild build, and I'm going to be on the lookout for some other wild things to build, some other crazy sets. Shoot me a comment down below if you think there's something cool that we should build with, a crazy set of shafts or iron heads or whatever that you saw. Let's try to build up some more crazy and wild stuff. So thanks again, and we'll do it again soon.